Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Asking for a Friend. I'm Bethany Silvis, Marketing Supervisor.
And I'm Lori Lutweiler, Director of People Operations. And today we are joined by Logan. So Logan, do you want to go ahead and give us an introduction?
My name is Logan Wolf. I've been with Kirkland Barbaria since December 2022, and I've been a proud member of the healthcare team, and I am now at the position of in charge of talent.
Excellent. We are so glad you're here today. So jumping right in, can you tell us kind of how you found your way to KB? What did that journey look like for you?
Yeah, I remember it was still over at USF. I was in my Tax 1 class, and we had two KB members come in to do a presentation and discuss what it's like working at KB, what it's like in the public accounting field, specifically in tax. They came in and they talked a lot about like the culture of KB, specifically what it's like in public accounting, and then also kind of walk through like a day in the life of what they do and what kind of software we'll be working with. And from there, I kind of, got very intrigued and thought it's something I wanted to explore into.
Excellent. And so now since you've joined the firm, what has your experience been like here and what have you enjoyed the most so far?
Overwhelmingly great. Like the team here is amazing. Even though I'm specifically in the healthcare department, I still find myself working alongside with a lot of people from international to SALT to Gentax. There's plenty of resources everywhere and a lot of people are willing to help. So I would definitely say my experience has been very friendly, very welcoming. I very much enjoyed my time so far.
Excellent. Throwing a curveball question at you. I know you work a lot with Zach and within the mentorship program. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So funny enough, Zach Berzak is actually one of the individuals that came in to discuss KB in my Tax 1 class. So he's kind of been my way to get into the firm. I used him as my reference, and we've had a couple interactions prior to me starting, but ever since then, he's checked in, asking basically how I was adapting to the firm, seeing how I was doing. And since then, we've now been part of the mentor-mentee program together, and we check in weekly. We go over anything from, just difficult tax concepts to how I can improve my career development, my career growth, what I can do to, make myself stand out a little bit more, what he's done in the past, make himself stand out. So he's just providing not just a tax knowledge expertise for me, but he's also providing a industry, a general career knowledge that I'm looking for being at my age.
That's fantastic.
So with your position, I know that you're able to do a little bit of hybrid work. So what is your schedule like now?
Yeah, my schedule now, I work remote Monday through Wednesday. And for those who can potentially see the video or not, I am working remote right now. It's been very, very great because of the fact I live about 30 miles away from the office, and the Tampa office is right next to Tampa Airport. Anyone that's dealt with 275 understands the traffic that you'd have to deal with. So it's been very flexible, and it all started when I was back still in my 5th year at USF, having to balance classes and work. But the team's managed to let me keep my remote days, and now it's kind of played more into a role of I've been working a lot of overtime. I've been working closer to 10-hour days. And because of that, I get into the office pretty early. So we kind of get that flexibility. But then I'll also leave the office a little bit earlier and finish my day from home on the days I work remote.
That's awesome to have that flexibility. I know Bethany and I have that as well. And I definitely enjoying it, being able to be home, be with my dog, do what I need to do. How do you stay engaged with the rest of the team while you're working in that hybrid capacity?
Fairly simple for me because being at the Tampa office, I interact primarily with Ashley and Aaron over the Sarasota office. So a lot of times it's just emails, phone calls. For other team members, a lot of times through Teams or even Zoom. A lot of it's still up to preference on how they like to be contacted. But it's not too different from working in the Tampa office just because the more tax-specific work I do requires a lot more support from the Sarasota office.
So with that, you said is kind of similar to what you've been doing since you're in the different office. What are some specific things that you've done to get to know the team here in Sarasota a little bit better?
Yeah, I've definitely made a couple trips down to kind of formally introduce myself to the team. I made sure to do that when I first started, and also Don assisted by bringing the entire Tampa healthcare team down to Sarasota for some team building exercises. But after that, I've made a couple trips. I try to just be, that friendly face that everyone wants to get to know. I kind of make myself known, just something that I do, but I'm a big phone caller. So if there's somebody on the team that, I need to talk to or get some support with, that we have a problem for a return or anything, I typically, reach out. If it's something that's urgent, it's more of a phone call. If it's just a simple request, then it's an email. But I definitely try to at least call everybody once on the team, everybody that I have an interaction with, just so that way we can get a feel for personality.
I think that's so important. And we've talked to a lot of people who have found great success at the firm, and they do just that. They pick up the phone, they call, they make themselves known, even if that's outside of their comfort zone a little bit. So I think that's critical for your role.
And so switching to something a little bit more fun, what do you do in your free time?
Well, free time's a little bit limited right now. Ramping back into the second half of season with the extensions. But outside of that, it's planning a wedding and trying to study for a CPA exam, which that's kind of a little bit more difficult right now just because the wedding's in November, so it's coming up quick. I think my fiance just brought up yesterday that we're like around 70 days or so from the actual wedding day. Hit the gas pedal a little bit now.
That's exciting. I've gotten to talk to you a little bit while you've been planning the wedding, and you seem super involved. Are there any details you want to share with us?
Honestly, I'm doing what I can to help out. My fiance absolutely just loves planning it. She wants to be in control of every single aspect of it. She's been making a bunch of items for the wedding as well, like a bunch of signs, table markers. We're right now working on getting the table decor itself made. So I'm just like an extra set of hands. If she needs me to reload the Cricut, help her, keep everything straight so she can peel it off, that's just what I'm trying to do. But any other time, it's, however else that we can help, whether it's following up on RSVPs, just trying to take that stress off of her too.
That's really great. It sounds like you're setting yourself up for success and a good partnership long-term by setting the foundation now. So that's awesome to hear.
One of the things we're learning through these podcasts is people have some really exciting hobbies or activities they like to do outside of work. I know you're planning a wedding and the CPA is probably taking up all your time, but is there anything fun like that you like to do?
Once I start getting a little bit more free time back, I'm going to try to start going and playing some pickup soccer. I used to play competitive back in high school. Kind of been missing it. My buddies have started playing in a league, and I wasn't able to participate this time around, but I'm looking forward to trying maybe after the wedding. In the meantime, I've just been trying to go to the gym, stay at least in physical health. Got to look good in a suit for the wedding. That's kind of the hobbies I've been trying to keep up with. And even then, if I can, I try to keep up on any items going on with work, with new tax information coming out.
So we would like to touch on that. Before I get into tax information, just finishing up personal life. I know you have a really cute dog.
Yes.
Do you guys do anything fun with your dogs? We are both dog lovers. So do you have anything to share in that space?
We try to bring them, whenever we bring them down to my parents' place, they love the pool. So we'll take him out there. The youngest one, the puppy, he's bigger than our other dog, but he absolutely just loves just staying in the pool for 3 hours on end. He won't get out. The other one, she likes to sunbathe. She's a Basset Hound, so there's not too many activities we can do with her because she'll just want to sleep the entire time. And then Chloe works at currently she works with a dog care facility. So a little doggy daycare type situation. So she'll bring Draco with her occasionally.
And is Draco the one who sleeps upside down with his paws up?
Oh yeah. He's not doing it right now, but he's I call him my assistant. Because whenever I'm working from home, he's always in the office with me. He just sits on his little couch all day and sleeps. And then the moment I log off work and Chloe gets home from school or work, he's just so energetic. Because he's built up all of it. He is a black-mouthed cur. We originally thought he was purebred, but we think he's actually now mixed with a greyhound. Our coworker Chloe's is wanting to provide us a DNA test to see if that's the case, because we're looking at pictures side by side, and we're thinking that's the case.
And then what's your fiance in school for?
She is in nursing school right now over with Galen over in St. Pete. She is going to be done with that in December 2025. They provide, it's strictly nursing, so they provide an accelerated course. She's currently working with geriatrics right now, and then she's moving into med surge. I kind of find it interesting because some of the stuff she'll bring up to me about different items we're learning, the terminology I sometimes see in the healthcare world, working with that. So it's kind of interesting because I'll surprise her. I'll be like, yeah, I know that word. That word, like ambulatory, means to walk. We have a client that has that, that uses that. So it catches off guard sometimes.
That's a really fun way to build a connection there between your work, even though finance and healthcare is not always the same. I like that.
Yeah, it's funny. It doesn't happen too often, but when it does, she just doesn't know what to say.
Has she ever used you as a pincushion?
Yes, she currently practices what they call CPE. which is basically the hands-on like clinical tests that they'll do. And so they have these super kind of like sophisticated dummies over in the college building, and can talk back. They have vitals, they can input into it, and they can actually take the vitals on these mannequins. But when she's home, I'm that dummy. She hasn't gotten to having to practice any like IVs yet, so I'm gonna run for the hills when that happens. Not a big needle fan, but yeah.
Well, that's great that you have, or she has you as that support system.
I try.
All right, switching gears to one of our favorite questions. What do you think your superpower is?
Yeah, I thought this question was quite interesting. Just when you sent it over to me ahead of time to really just think about what it was, and I came up with two of them. One of them is a positive attitude. I feel like no matter what's going on with work, what's going on personally, I always try to come into work with some sort of smile, because I also kind of take it's away from I can always try to take work away from everything too. Even if I'm not having the best day, I feel like that if I can provide positive energy back to whoever I'm talking to, they're going to reciprocate it. And maybe, the interaction of that phone call I have with whether it's a client or another staff member might give me a little highlight for that day. The other one that I found was that my drivenness to kind of like learn everything. I've been told, and I also kind of follow this methodology in my own way. It's to not say no. Whatever, basically take on any new task I can take on. There's something I haven't done before, let them know, but also be like, I will definitely do this. Like, I just need to learn up on it. I need to read up on it. And so any assignment that anybody will throw at me, I'll give the best try I can.
I can say from my experience, like getting to know you and even visiting the Tampa office, or when I've seen you down here, that you do always kind of exude that positive attitude. You're always smiling, you say hi to everyone. You always people out to say hi to them. And I think that's so rare. And like, I really commend you for that. And your intention comes through, which is really awesome to see that.
Yeah, and I was going to build on that too. You're so genuine. Just your personality is just so genuine and warm. So I think that is definitely your superpower. But I'm intrigued as a fellow lifelong learner. I always love to learn new things. I don't like to say no either. I feel like everything is figure outable. It's just a matter of what the process is. Do you have any tips or tricks as far as how you figure things out? Like tax compliance is so different. What are your go-to methods?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one is I give it, I spend about 15 minutes on something before I start kind of spinning my wheels. So that way I'm not spending too much time, especially if it's a billable item. But I advise those who are at my level, those who are at the lower, kind of like at the lower levels, they're still new to the industry. Rely on those above you who do know it, not to tell you how to do it, but to help push you along. So that's kind of what Zach and I do with the mentor meetings, is when I have new topics that for a task, maybe I'll ask him if he's done it before, if he's comfortable with it, if he can explain what I should be trying to do here. And then he'll kind of either I'll do it on the call with him and he'll help walk me through any parts where I'm throwing it off, but he lets me do most of the thinking there. He's just, if I'm getting off track, he'll nudge me back in the right direction. So I feel like finding individuals or resources that can help you move forward with that task, it's very beneficial. And once you kind of learn that, you can find something to also make sure it's make sure your thought process is correct. Because I think we've all done that before, the math question or some sort of question. It's like, I got the right answer, but everything I did up to this was just wrong. It's just one of those flukes. You kind of want to make sure that your process is correct as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
We always like to give our guests the opportunity to ask us anything. So there are some caveats to that. We might not be able to answer. We might answer off camera, but we always like to try to answer what we can. So what would you like to ask us?
Yeah. So I actually kind of thought, I made sure to kind of think about this because I figured if we're having a conversation today that, I might get to ask my own questions. So the one that I thought about was when I had worked at my previous firm, I kind of worked a administrative and tax preparer position. With you two being on the admin side of KB, working at an accounting firm like that, how's your experience been, and what is it kind of like working with accountants specifically? It's two different tracks of mine, I feel like sometimes. So I'm been kind of interested to see how it's been for you too.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, from my side, obviously working in people operations, I love working with accountants. And my main reason on that is because honesty and integrity are at the forefront of everything that everyone does. So thinking about that from my seat, it's awesome because the team members want to follow the policies. You want to do the right thing. You want to make sure that you're being compliant. And so much of my role at its core is those focuses. And so it's really cool to see that. And the people here are just so great, like on top of, being compliant and all of those things. Everyone's kind and warm and welcoming. So I really enjoyed working in accounting, and that's been at least my experience.
Yeah, my experience has been great as well. I love kind of flipping the script. I feel like, well, you guys have clients. All of the team members are our clients. Like, we get to work with everybody in every department. And a big part of my role is creating some fun that happens. And I love bringing smiles and like kind of stepping back from the billable work for a second and doing some fun activities. So I think that part of it is really cool. And then I also like to bring out people's creative sides. So whether that's article writing or videos or podcasts or things like that, I get to kind of explore the fun stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I'm starting to step into that field with the creating some videos and stuff like that with Christine. She's assigned me a new task of creating with Zach Rozak more advanced partnership topic video walkthroughs. So we recently last week met to discuss, what kind of topics we want to go over. And so now once we get past these deadline dates, we're going to start working on that, creating scenarios, creating situations. We're going to record the calculation, we're going to record the input, and we're going to record the review, and hopefully help create a more clear walkthrough of some of these more difficult topics, and kind of also help create maybe some standards for some of these more difficult topics, because I feel like sometimes they can range a little bit between different teams and different preferences.
Oh, that's fantastic. I can't wait to see those videos.
I know. I'm excited.
One of the other questions I like to ask everybody is a little selfishly. I think we do a lot of fun activities, but I like to hear, what is one of your favorite activities that KB does?
Ooh, that's a good one. One of the events that I found very fun for myself is KB Collabs. Being a people person, I kind of like this more informal meeting where we get to have, topics of conversation where there's just questions about what we're doing in our jobs, everyday jobs, or how we can maybe potentially grow in our career. But we have some fun icebreaker questions. I know occasionally we have different presenters or different leaders for those meetings in the KB Collabs. And I found that it's beneficial in learning, people that are all across from staff level to manager level and from different teams that I haven't gotten to interact with it yet. And I may not get the chance to on like an actual project, but at least get to know their face, get to know their name.
Absolutely. My favorite part of those meetings is hearing everybody's win. So for our listeners who might not know, we end every KB Collaborative with everybody sharing their recent wins since we last met. And it could be personal or professional. And it's a really fun time to just share some positivity. I love that.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
All right, Logan, to wrap up here, do you want to share the type of work you do for KB and what you do to support your team?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, I specifically work on the healthcare team, but my primary role for the healthcare team is focusing on business tax. So anything from federal returns, state returns, sales tax, even payroll tax. I kind of get, a little taste of everything there. So there's been a couple returns where I've had to work with a SALT team. I haven't had too many interactions with international, but everything tax related essentially will come through to me when it comes to business tax items and correspondence. Besides that, I keep up with my bookkeeping, kind of learn some new items there with my monthly, quarterly work. Besides that, I know I've spoken with Ashley Salter, and she's helping me reach the niche I want to kind of get into, which is law firm tax specifically. We have a couple of them, and I find them kind of interesting the way they operate and the way they track their funds and track their finances. And so every single law firm that comes through our department, I get to take a look at it, I get to take a crack at it and see what I can compare. And that's led to some pretty large returns. I know I started, my tax season started January 17th this year. So I started getting into tax returns real early because of some law firms.
That's fantastic. And I think that goes back to your earlier comment of just being so driven that you're having these conversations about the type of work you like to be doing and where you see your career going, all while studying for the CPA and advancing all of your skills. It's pretty incredible.
And planning a wedding at the same time.
And planning a wedding.
Yeah, the joke is, I remember the joke Erin made back in February or March when we had the town hall meeting was she announced my promotion to in charge, and she was like, he's planning a wedding, he's studying for a CPA, he's working during tax season. We're like, we don't know how he does it all. My guess is he just doesn't sleep. But no, I get enough sleep, especially now that Chloe's in nursing school. She has to wake up early too. She feels my pain. So yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've really appreciated getting to know you a little bit more, and we're excited to see where your career goes.
I'm very excited too. I see a lot of opportunities with KB. So I'm excited to go forward with it.
We're happy to have you on the team and looking forward to it.
Appreciate it.